already, huh?
I could have swore
was
I had this adjusted. Anyways,
Yeah, I thought you
technology, it
did
loves to
too.
give us the middle finger. Sorry about the muting.
even in the future, nothing fucking works.
As once more with feeling. This is Fated Continuum, the Legendary Journeys. I am your one and only gaming monk. With me, of course, are brothers Sig and Flutter. And now that we have handled 12 and Revenant Wings, and thus taken a departure from Evilise, for now, it is time to venture into what for some is the most divisive era of Final Fantasy.
Ah, yes.
And for me, it's a case of it's the most divisive era, except for all the other ones that were divisive.
I mean, excuse me. I mean, anyone?
Which we already covered that. And when it comes when it comes to this era, when it comes to 13, 13.2, and Lightning Returns, something that I have noticed in more recent years is there's been a growing amount of people for whom this was their first entry.
Much like how 7 was was a generation's first entry. Yes.
Yeah. And where this really hit home was when I remember getting back and forth on the matter with someone on Twitter, and they had said that they were shocked that them saying 13 is low quality was somehow a bad take to some. And what I had said in the matter, and no worries about the lurk, Cress. Hope you having a good day. Is that you're dealing with a whole generation for whom this was their entry point. Likely because the PS3 was the first gaming system that they ever got.
Yeah. Much like how for a generation the PS1 or 2 was their first console.
Mm-hmm. And I know a lot of the people who would make that kind of statement are the type of people who thought that everything should be like 6 forevermore. Which that was never gonna fly. And there's also the fact that once again, Final Fantasy is all about iteration and experimentation. So expecting it to stick to one particular thing for future installments is not going to stick.
Since, like you said, this is a franchise that has no roots.
That is not what I said.
Ah, fair enough.
That is what someone who was being a complete dingus assumed I said, and never asked me to clarify. Just operated on dumbass assumptions.
Yeah.
The roots are in and of itself in iteration and experimentation, which, as we all know, every Final Fantasy has been different to one extent or another.
Yeah. What I had said at that time was the roots of FF are not in high fantasy per se. Because this was when FF16 was making the pre-launch media rounds, and there were a bunch of people going, finally FF6 Final Fantasy is back to its medieval fantasy roots. And that's just not true. Some people will claim that isn't the case, but this isn't like say Dragon Quest, where the style of fantasy has been fairly consistent, largely because the artist has been fairly consistent. But when it comes to 13, I will admit that behind the scenes there were problems. Going into a new generation, you wanting to use a new engine. At the time, it was called the White Engine. Later on, would be rebranded to Crystal Tools, and then even more later on, the Luminous Engine.
Nice. Very on. That second name is very on brand, considering what the trilogy is officially titled.
It was the engine was called Crystal Tools long after the fact.
Still, though.
However, there was a problem. This was a problem that happened a lot in the 7th generation. A lot of things changed a lot of fast when it came to hardware and when it came to development, and not everybody was able to keep up. Because of the expanded hardware, the temptation was there to add more staff. But because of the way development worked, this resulted in excessively long grapevines. The development staff was a collection of fiefdoms. You've got one team working on level design, one team working on the writing, one team working on combat programming, etc., etc. And when you've got more people in the pipeline, that means communication between those different fiefdoms is going to be slower.
Much so than it had been at the time. Yeah.
There's also the fact that early on, 12 was supposed to be, not 12, but 13 was supposed to be a PS2 project. But because of how long 12 took, it got bumped.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There are early development screens that show it using some assets similar to 12. This was very, very early on. And apparently at one point there was a registration for a Final Fantasy 13-3, which didn't happen. That would eventually become Lightning Returns.
Mm-hmm. And then, of course, Versus 13, which would later turn into 15.
Yeah. But Fabula Nova Crystallis, the new Tale of the Crystals, which was supposed to be the focus for 13, was another arm of the multimedia project that they had been doing. We've covered a few of them in the past: the compilation of FF7 and the Evilise Alliance.
Yep.
And the idea was that there were supposed to be three approaches originally. 13 versus 13, which was going to be handled by the Kingdom Hearts side of Square, and Agito 13. Now, Agito 13 would be folded into a phone game, and the Agito 13 that was originally planned would become Type 0. And obviously, Versus 13 ended up becoming FF15. And I suspect one of the reasons why that happened, aside from the long development cycle, was that it was already drifting away from the mythos that Fabula Nova Crystallis was doing. So they may as well just rip that band-aid off. That, and because of how long the 13 trilogy took, it meant that 15 had to get bumped to a new console generation.
Mm-hmm.
So, history repeating itself.
Oh yeah, because I remember the first time that happened.
Well, we already talked about that happening with 12.
Mm-hmm.
Ah,
12 had a long development cycle, which meant 13 had to be a PS3 title. Versus 13 having a long development cycle, so when it became 15, it had to get bumped as well.
yes.
But I remember when I still had a subscription to Game Developer Monthly, there was a postmortem that was done by Toriyama about the development of 13. Now, the Grapevine issue I already mentioned, that was one major thing. The other is that at that time, the idea of a vertical slice wasn't really a thing in Japanese game development.
But wait, the vertical slice?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
And there was a lot of debate about what direction things were going to go in. Which is why if you look at that initial E3 teaser compared to what we finally got, things changed so drastically.
Yeah. Because to put it into perspective, I believe that trailer was revealed at E3 2006.
Yes. It was a 1-minute
Go ahead.
teaser that had a few seconds worth of combat that very much leaned into a action-based combat. And just to
Which is what we would end up getting, effectively.
Not entirely. I think the combat setup that we saw in that initial teaser is what would later be the foundation for the way combat worked in Lightning Returns.
Right. And let's see, 13.
I put in the side chat a screenshot from that particular concept.
And the game itself, and the first game itself, wouldn't be released in Japan until December 2009, but everywhere else, March 2010. So weirdly,
But
yeah. Anyway,
the PS3 was described as a tricky thing to code for,
yes.
which certainly tracks. It's not the first time I've heard that. And truth be told, the early development was still using PS2 hardware. It wouldn't be for a while before they'd even know what the PS3 hardware would look like. This is not uncommon when it comes to between generation projects.
Nope.
I think a similar thing happened with Halo 4. Because early on they were still using the 360 for testing because they didn't know what the hardware setup was going to look like for the
Xbox One. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And there was also the fact that some technical know-how between generations was made completely irrelevant with the new system, so they had to start again from scratch,
Oof.
including building a whole new pipeline.
Oh God.
Ugh.
And Toriyama had admitted that the final thing was a bit rushed, even though it launched 4 years after initial announcement. I'd compare it to the chaos of the development cycle in Halo 2, though nowhere near as bad. And I think that's also the reason why it was necessary to do the FF7 tech demo,
Yeah.
just so that they could see, okay, we can actually model this with the tech that they have. There was a similar thing done when they started shifting over to the PS2 and did a recreation of the dance in FF8 using PS2 graphics. There's no audio for it, but there is a clip of it online if you know where to look.
I see.
And they were always going to do a action-based approach.
Yeah.
A lot of the technical aspects were already set in stone. But there was a lot of starting everything from scratch on several levels.
Mm-hmm.
And but development was problematic for the longest time, and it didn't really get better until that demo dropped for Advent Children Complete.
Ah.
I think the other thing that certainly didn't help around that time was the fact that during the 7th generation, and this is something I have talked about at length, this is when you saw a lot of what is referred to as criticism of console RPGs, but was really journalist slander. And this idea that Japan needed to radically change their approach to appeal to the West, that was fucking everywhere in the mid to late 2000s.
Yeah, fuck that noise.
Yeah.
This was the same time when you had BioWare devs talking shit about console RPGs being outdated, and every pundit under the sun clowning on it.
God, I remember that, and there's still people repeating that same fucking lie.
Mm-mm. Oh,
Hey.
I think around that time there was a big push for this idea of Japan's dominance is over. It's the West that's dominant now, piggybacking off of the success of the 360. However, when you look at who was popping off regarding that then and where they are now, I feel like I know who really had the last laugh. Because
So do I, yeah.
the companies that were really, first off, for what was supposed to be a Western dominance when it came to the RPG market, only 2 companies were really pushing that. And let's consider what those 2 companies and where they are now. Those 2 being Bethesda and BioWare. BioWare is all but dead. It's probably gonna be shuttered in a year.
And then Microblaze is getting sunsetted effectively.
There's talk about whether or not that's actually the case. Or whether or not that was just said to try and get some kind of buzz out there.
And take some of the heat off of what's been going on with Microsoft Gaming, yeah.
And Bethesda, well, we had a whole running gag of trading Bethesda like my personal bitch for about a year. So, you tell me.
Exactly.
But this idea of trying to appeal, and Some have speculated that a big reason for that push for a Western appeal was tied to Square being the Japanese distributor for things like Modern Warfare. I don't know if that's... Now, they were the distributor for Modern Warfare. That much is true. But whether or not that had anything to do with it, I doubt it. Because I don't think any of the developers in Japan really understood what the idea of appeal to the West really meant.
Yeah, neither do I.
Even Inafune, the guy who was really pushing for that shit, I don't think even he understood it.
And look where he is now.
Yeah. I'm surprised
Inafune,
Concept lasted as long as it did. Only finally shutting down last month.
Better than nothing.
I know that wasn't him who said it. It was his translator, but still. But I mean, if I ever revive Geek Watch, maybe I'll do an episode talking about that early push for video games on Kickstarter and the lessons that were learned from it. Also, Amav, I see you in the chat, and that kind of thing is going to get you sent to the water dimension.
Yeah.
Well, he's not... Oh, God, he's not even in Twitch, so I can't do anything.
Mm-hmm. But...
This is why it pays to have the YouTube stream up.
Now... I think what's quite telling is around that time there was a big push for appeal to the West, and nowadays the move is we need to maintain the Japanese-ness of our work. That I've especially seen that since the developer of since Tsuburaya had, or at least Tsuburaya Productions had made that comment regarding the future of Ultraman.
Huh.
Which I'd be remiss if I didn't point out that a couple of times they tried to do American versions of Ultraman, and both times were complete disasters.
Oh yeah, Ultraman USA and the god-awful excuse for a dub that we got for Tiga.
Mm-hmm.
Which is
Now
why
the
I'm
Tiga...
so glad that their dubs are much better than that.
Yeah. Now the Tiga dub, I put that on 4Kids. I don't put that on Tsuburaya.
Fair.
The Ultraman USA thing, no, that was all them.
Yeah. Yeah, which is why I'm so glad that their current dubbing is much better.
Mm-hmm. And of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't bring out the fact that for years Tsuburaya was in a very messy thing with the lawyers.
Yep. Also, I forgot one. Winkler Productions as well. 'Cause
Yeah,
those movie dubs.
I know Spoony quote unquote tore it a new one, but first off, Noah can go fuck himself. Second off, I saw bits of that review. It was nothing but bitterness. He didn't even finish.
I've only seen 8 and bits of 10.
Yeah.
But that's all I remember of him. I've never seen the 13 one.
But personally, I was in a weird spot when it came to 13 because while everyone was criticizing the linearity, that wasn't the critique I had personally. Much like how, yeah, this is I'm in a similar position with what I said with 9, where the whole learn from equipment thing I felt was in the wrong game. And every time I'd explain that, people would look at me like I had steam and turds coming out of my mouth. But the critique that I had was I felt like doing the whole leveling up equipment through drops while that also being the main way you get gil to get items was a bad idea.
Yeah, that system does not lend itself well to creativity.
It's more that consider the way you get equipment in games ever since the Dragon Quest model was pretty much established. You know, the whole town, field, dungeon repeat that I've mentioned, where you're getting the next tier of equipment. Doing that while also leveling up your weapons and armor like that don't mix.
No,
Yeah,
it didn't very well.
Like that whole leveling up equipment thing, that works better when you have a more broad equipment path like you would in a CRPG.
Uh-huh.
Where the next tier of equipment isn't something you automatically get when you get to the next settlement, because you're not going to be hopping between settlements all that much, since a CRPG is more often going to be built on a hub system.
Yeah.
One that you're going back and forth between.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that you have to choose between either advancing your equipment or buying potions and the like did not sit with me. Now,
I can very much see why it didn't.
and I feel I'm not trying to do some humble brag, but I feel like this is what separates me from other people who were in the space. I wasn't just focusing on buzzwords, and in fact, the debates regarding FF13 was where I started using the term buzzword criticism. Because I really felt a lot of people who were covering it were using a few buzzwords or catchphrases in lieu of actually having an argument. But some of the arguments that were made at the time were just silly, like it being too futuristic to be fantasy. That was stupid.
Yeah, fantasy doesn't need to be futuristic.
Well, what the argument was that it was too futuristic to be fantasy. That it was more science fiction than fantasy, which is something that only really works if you assume fantasy has to be an XP of Lord of the Rings and nothing else.
Yeah.
It's almost like I've done a video on this subject.
Also, jokes on them. Fiction isn't, or what? Sci-fi can be melded with fantasy, so.
Yeah.
Like you said, nothing has to be strictly one genre.
Mm-hmm. But the intent that they had when it came to the battle system was to have command-based battles, but creates ones that were similar to what they were doing with Advent Children, which is a concept that Square has been chasing for years since. I'd say it's only been in the last few years that they finally got to that point.
Yeah.
But I've talked about this at length. When it comes to the whole fantasy thing, and saying that the world of 13 is more science fiction than fantasy demonstrates a fundamental.
Go ahead.
It demonstrates a fundamental misunderstanding of genre.
What I was going to add to that was they've only played on Cocoon. They didn't get to Pulse.
Yeah, and a bit of a hot take. Pulse. I actually prefer the parts in Cocoon more than I do Pulse.
Fair.
It's understandable.
Pulse is a bit sprawling. Also, hello there, Zoya. Oh. But I hear cat. I was like, did that cat of yours decided he wanted to be an asshole today? Sig?
Oh no, Locke isn't even with me right now. I don't know where he is. Probably
Cat,
terrorizing somebody in
not
the
cat,
house.
monk, doggo.
Ah. But I remember one of the other complaints that was brought up is how you could just hit auto battle and most battles would be run for you. That wasn't entirely true, and I felt that Sig, you know how Hexen is not a bad game, but it has a bad first impression with the 7 portals.
Once you get past the 7 portals, it's not really a bad game beyond that.
Mm-hmm.
Just frustrating and tedious.
Yeah. We had a similar issue here because there were large chunks of the game where you only had 2 people for your party. And because of the way the paradigm shift system worked, it makes battles actually slower than they need to be.
It does, yeah.
I distinctly not to mention there were a few boss fights where it felt like you needed one particular Crystarium combo in order to survive certain attacks. Looking at you, Bartandalus. Fuck you. Oh. You know, with some of his attacks, that unless you had a particular Crystarium stack set up, you were gonna get wiped.
Yeah, that's weird. Oh, there it is. Never mind. Yeah.
And the point is that I do think that I'm not gonna say that 13 was some masterpiece. It certainly has its problems, but I felt like some people overemphasized certain minor problems to try and make them major, or were drowning in hyperbole. Especially since whenever I would hear people talk about how it's bad because linear, I would ask them to explain what they meant, and they couldn't answer me.
Unsurprisingly.
I can offer a sort of answer. It's because most of the maps are in a straight line. That's about it.
Which, on the other hand, on one hand, I could see that. On the other hand, imagine doing full exploration when you're a wanted fugitive.
Yeah, not happening.
Yeah.
Like that's why I felt a lot of people who were making that claim weren't seeing the bigger picture.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, with some people, I was like, that's a nice opinion. Did another YouTuber give it to you? Keep in mind, around this time I was dealing with the 4th edition is just turning D&D into WoW, kind of bullshit.
Oh yeah.
So I had no time for any of that.
Nor should you have.
As someone who's played various freaking what would be considered WoW clones at the time, people don't know what they're talking about.
Oh, I made that clear. that a lot of people making that claim had no idea how MMOs actually worked. I didn't think it was a coincidence that was being said right around the same time that Wrath of the Lich King was in circulation. You know, peak WoW.
I was about to say, the last good WoW expansion.
But all and of course, then we get to when we get to 13.2, that's when things start opening up a bit more. I knew 13.2 was going to be a mess when I found out. Oh, we're doing time travel. All right, brace for
bullshit.
Yep. And I do remember Kitase saying one of the influences for taking the approach he did was playing through Oblivion, which some people took the wrong way to say, oh, they're trying to make it like Elder Scrolls.
No.
Which,
where the hell did they get that idea?
Yeah, the hell were they on?
And the source cited is the author's ass.
His source is that he made it the fuck up.
No.
Armstrong.
No. These fuckers don't get Maxer. I am not giving them that dignity.
Fair.
But oddly enough, I did see a turnaround regarding the perception of 13 when it got ported to PC. But I know some people have romanticism about Chrono Trigger and the like, but I'm gonna be honest. And thank you for the follow, Jake. Time travel is a fucking minefield, story-wise. And even stories that I like fall under their own weight when it comes to time travel. The only story that I've covered that didn't fall under its own weight when it came to time travel was Primer. Primer came out in 2004. And I'm not saying it does time travel right or something, but it's the one that has the least amount of problems. But a big reason why there is the more linear approach with 13 was limitations of hardware and time.
Yeah, hardware limitations and time constraints.
And I know it might seem silly to say hardware limitations, but given that they had to spend a long amount of time just rebuilding their foundation from scratch, that was going to eat up time.
Yeah.
Obviously, with 13.2, there was a bit more time. So it was able to handle things a little bit better. I've had some back and forths regarding the whole third character in the party being a monster, but I feel like that was a way to keep the focus on Sarah and Noelle while also having a 3-person party for Paradigms.
Honestly, because that actually honestly works, especially considering the fact that, like we've established, this franchise is built on experimentation.
And of course, with Lightning Returns, I think the big takeaway I had with Lightning Returns was how quick the turnaround was. And I think much like Majora's Mask, it was a lot of creative use of assets at the time. I know some ended up skipping it because the time limits in the game were a bit stressful for them. You know, for the same reason a friend of mine isn't willing to dive into like Valkyrie Profile or Persona 3. Though, I'd actually say Lightning Returns is one of the best examples of what I wanted to do when it came to weapon variety. Because each of the weapons in that game has their own little quirks.
Mm-hmm.
But with that said, a few things that I think we should note. For this kind of adaptation thing, we are not going to try and replicate the ATB setup as it was in any part of the trilogy. That is just not happening.
No, of course not.
We may visit the paradigm system in a bit, but not the whole giving titles to combinations because that's not feasible.
Nope.
And when it comes to the Eidolons, I'm of the belief that each of the Eidolons that we see, especially in 13, would probably fall under the category of different yokai.
Oh yeah, especially considering the fact that these Eidolons can transform.
The transformation part of the Eidolon is not the reason why I say that.
Oh,
It is because it is in alt form.
right, yeah. That is basically on a time limit instead of just an attack.
And I've already made clear that summons that are just a jumped up attack are not interesting.
Yeah, they really aren't.
So let's start with character adaptation, and we're gonna end up doing lightning 3 times. I'm just putting that out there.
Of course, we kind of have to.
Avoid making the joke. Avoid making the joke.
Do it.
Do it.
Like, oh, I'd do lightning 3 times. You can yeet me for this later.
I will consider it.
As will I.
I was like, bullshit. You both are gonna do it the moment the show's over.
No, what's gonna happen is you're gonna hear a robot say, "Actionable pun detected."
Oh, me.
Oh god.
Actionable pun detected.
So,
Nah, that was just lazy. Hit him anyway.
so we start with lightning, obviously.
Well, of course she'd be a gunbreaker.
No.
Oh.
So, I have talked about this on a couple occasions, including a small thread on Twitter about this. But the Blazefire Saber, I do not count as a gunblade in the way I have the gun arms designed.
I see.
Any weapon that is doing the melee weapon that can shoot, that is best covered by the variable weapon enchantment.
Right.
Gunblades are specifically for when the blade is used to, or the gun part is used to enhance a melee attack. So Blazefire Saber is disqualified.
Yeah, a la a bayonet. Yeah.
Now I'm pretty sure I did put in her class and job set up previously. I just need to dig it up. And I'm looking in both.
Given what she would be, what I would consider a freaking an agility-based fighter, I'd honestly go with expert for her class.
Yeah.
Because the way she plays, she is definitely hit him hard, hit him fast.
Oh, absolutely.
So, let me.
Yeah, I'm checking the core book myself.
Wait a minute. I have.
She'd be in Ultimania, wouldn't she?
No, she's not in She is not in Ultimania.
Let's see.
Actually, let me double check. Yeah, I didn't put her in.
No, there is a pre-gen for her.
Oh, no, yep, it is.
Expert, Knight, Ravager, Medic.
I believe I have two.
Ah.
I have that version, and then there was the more Dissidia adjacent version I did in Ultimania.
I see.
I knew I wasn't crazy.
And I am
crazy.
I am putting in a rule that each of the members that have Eidolon in the 13 cast are getting some yokai.
Makes sense.
But just because of mindset and dodge tanks are a thing, I'm going with what I had originally was Weapon Master, Ravager, and yokai Odin.
Yep, I see that.
Yep. Odin is her official yokai as per 13.2. Well, 13 itself, I should say.
Weapon Master I put in because of the focus on the Blazefire Saber, but for the purposes of her appearance in 13, I'd say I'd still go with Dervish.
Yeah.
I'd go with Dervish instead of Weapon Master, especially with what you had said earlier, Sig.
Because even though Commando is her main thing, her main strength lies in getting those hits, and getting the fuck back out.
Exactly. Hit him hard, hit him fast.
And I remember going with Ravager because of the Ravager the Ravager paradigm.
Yeah.
But I'd say for the second one I'd have that be Weapon Master instead.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
And of course for the third yokai Odin. Especially that kind of spell spam of Ruined isn't really something that needs to be focused on here, because the idea with the different spell tiers was higher tier ones took a larger amount of that ATB gauge, and that's not something I'm doing here.
Nope.
But so then when it comes to Snow,
yeah.
I'd say as far as one of the jobs, it has to be Sentinel, because Steel Guard.
You God! Because the memes.
Exactly.
Uh, obviously Yokai of Shiva because of the Shiva cycle. Uh, I know it'd be tempting to go with Monk because of him being unarmed, but I do want to make clear within this system you don't have to be unarmed in order to pick Monk.
Yeah, you
That
will.
is a case of people falling into old habits.
Mhm.
Let's see, did I do Snow in the... So I did Snow in the core book, and I did give a Monk in that one. Monk, Paladin, and General as a Adept.
But in Ultimania, it's a bit different.
Mm-mm.
It is Sentinel, Guardian, and of course Yokai Shiva.
Yep.
Which I actually feel like this is a more apt build for him.
Yeah, that fits better for him.
The only thing I'd switch out is instead of going with Guardian, go with Fencer.
Yeah.
Mostly because counterattacking isn't really his thing.
It isn't, no.
Uh,
I mean, he works well as a sentinel, but that's not counterattack.
but so next up would be Orba Dia Vanille. Which, as an aside, I do enjoy the naming convention of characters from Pulse.
Yeah, that is fun.
Although Orba herself, or Vanille, is definitely one of those cases where I'm glad that I took the approach with weapons, because trying to do her weapon in a more standard weapon list would be a nightmare.
Yeah, I was about to say, considering what her weapon can do.
Oh yeah, fucking slingshot that can transform into a bow. I believe.
Sure. No, the bow transformation was Sarah. Hers was just
Right, yeah, that's Sarah. Yeah.
a rod with what they call a binding rod that looks like antlers on a stick with hidden wires. It is described as similar to a fishing rod.
Yeah. Yeah, antlers with wires and hooks. Like you said, similar to a fishing rod.
Mm-hmm. So Vanille works best as a support mage. So I do think mage is the job of choice.
Mm-hmm.
Or not job of choice, class of choice, sorry.
Yeah.
Let's see, as far as the... I didn't put her in the core book. Let me see if I think I did.
Her in Ultimania.
No, not in Ultimania either, so...
Nope.
It was so it was just lightning and snow. Got it.
I think the reason I did lightning and snow is because I was going on the list of ones from the Dissidia games.
Yeah, since they're in those games. Yeah.
But I would, as far as which jobs to go with for Vanille, Uh, one of them should be obvious, and that's Medic.
Mm-hmm.
And because of some of the debuffs that she has access to,
Arcanist.
yeah.
Oh, most definitely, yeah.
As far as the third one, Illusionist.
Mm-hmm. I can definitely agree with that one.
So can I, yeah.
And when it comes to some of the weapons, we'll revisit that in a moment, because I do think some of them deserve their own build setup.
So do I, yeah.
So then Saz's original
Saz,
concept
that's
art
right.
and how he would end up looking are completely different.
I see.
And actually, I can't do Illusionist for Vanilla. The third one is Yokai Titan.
Ah. Yeah, I can see her summoning Titan.
So with Saz Katsroy, the guy whose whole gimmick is basically being at the wrong place at the wrong time.
Mm-hmm.
And somehow having a chocobo live in his afro.
A chocobo chick, specifically, yes.
So it's so. Given the fact that Saz starts out pretty well as a Ravager,
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking a Ravager and a Synergist.
Yeah, I can see that.
I'm thinking first one should probably be Black Mage.
Ooh,
Mhm.
yeah. Ooh, yeah, that works.
Second one, I know it'd be tempting to go with White Mage because he gets things like Bravery, Faith, and Haste. Instead of going with Cosmic Mage.
Yeah, I can see it.
And the yokai this time around is Ifrit.
Mhm.
Ooh, yeah.
Closest analog to his Eidolon Brynhildr.
Mhm.
Brynhildr.
So then who was the one who was the most hated member of the original cast?
Oh, God. Hope. Hope S time.
Yep.
I think the most annoying thing about it is his dynamic, quote unquote, with frickin' Snow.
Considering he was out for revenge for letting his mom get killed in a flashback in the beginning of the game.
And then I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I did not like Troy Baker as Snow. I like Troy Baker as a voice actor. I just didn't like him as Snow, and I don't know why.
Yep. So I would say for Hope, who I think Hope is also going to be um Black Mage.
Yeah, considering his strongest asset is magic.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It's
He is. He,
And I-
he is the second healer outside of Vanille.
yeah, and I would say White Mage as well, and I know it'd be tempting to go with Red Mage or Scholar.
Doesn't fit.
No.
No,
neither
Black and
fit,
White
Yeah.
fits.
Yeah, it's just black and white.
The yokai, of course, is Alexander.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Uh, but then, Erba Yunfang.
Who I believe is who I don't think it's ever explicitly stated, but I believe is Vanille's sister.
No, not sister.
Just best friend. Fair enough. Anyway.
Best friend to some, but those who know how to pay attention or look at it and go, they fucking.
Yep. I was about to say
they fucking exactly.
lesbians. I mean, it's very clear.
Yeah.
So, class-wise, Orba's a warrior type. That is very clear.
Oh, most certainly, considering she has, I believe, a detachable spear, I believe is what it is.
It's a double-bladed spear.
Ah, right.
A double-bladed spear that can be a Sansetsu cone.
A 3-segmented staff.
So, let's get the obvious out of the way. Dragoon.
Mm-hmm. She is off tank, and she's basically DPS the entire time.
And given the fact that she gets all elemental strikes at the Ra level and a few at Ga level.
Magic Knight.
Yep. And of course, yokai is Bahamut.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was ever in doubt.
Yeah. Also, with that second class, I don't know why, but I'm picturing her piloting a machine.
Have you seen Bahamut in Gestalt form?
I said, oh right, yeah, oh right, it is a mech.
There is a heavy emphasis on machine gods within all of 13.
Right.
And while it is tempting to do Godot and Lebreau, there's not really enough. There's not really enough meat on the bones. Plus, I didn't do blank when we covered 9, so same principle.
Yeah. No point in converting supporting characters.
Blank, the best supporting character ever.
Mm-mm. Now, before we get to 13.2, one thing I would like to delve into is obviously not doing the full Crystarium thing is going to be feasible. But I think looking at what jobs would fit each of the Crystariums that we each of the Crystarium roles is something to consider.
Like what you guys did with the dress spheres, yeah.
And the Zodiac.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the Zodiac. Oh, you did that with the Zodiac too? Nice.
Oh yeah, we did the Zodiac system and came up with some pretty interesting results.
Yep. Oh. And there is a part of me that likes some of the Japanese names for the paradigm roles.
Attacker, Blaster, Defender, Jammer, Enhancer, and Healer.
Mm-hmm. I will admit that some of these it's gonna be call it by ear because some Crystariums are going to get overly favored.
Mm-hmm.
But
Over others, yeah.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go from top to bottom listing the jobs, and I want you guys to tell me which of the Crystarium roles you think would fit it.
Okay.
All right.
So, Berserker.
I am going to go ahead and say... I'll say Commando for that one.
Yeah, definitely Commando.
Dervish.
Dervish, that's again Commando because, well, hit him hard, hit him fast.
Yep. Anyway.
Dragoon.
Probably Synergist.
Spencer.
Saboteur.
Oh yeah, Saboteur.
Saboteur, without a doubt.
Yeah, Hundo.
Fighter.
Fighter, definitely gonna have to go with probably Ravager on this one, because double threat.
Knight.
Sentinel.
Oh yeah, definitely Sentinel.
Sentinel? I was gonna go Saboteur because of Break.
Oh yeah!
That is fair. All the break abilities, because they do enfeeble.
So yeah, Saboteur.
Sentinel, well, obviously. Sniper.
Let's see.
Saboteur.
Yep.
Weapon Master.
Ravager,
Yeah, Ravager.
because of its focused weapon abilities.
Right. So, when it comes to the expert jobs, Chemist.
They're medic or synergist.
Yeah, either or.
I can go with Medic for that one.
Yeah.
Covert Ops.
Let's see here. I'm gonna say Saboteur for this one.
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
Dynamo.
Ravager.
Yeah, Ravager.
All the way, Ravager.
Yep.
Engineer.
Synergist.
Right. Gambler.
Saboteur.
Right. General.
It's gonna be Synergist.
Yeah, definitely Synergist.
Mediator.
Once again, Synergist for this one.
Yeah.
It's more of a buffer than anything.
Uh-huh.
Medic. Medic.
Medic. No
But
shit.
obvious.
Much like Sentinel.
Noble.
I'm gonna go off
Commando.
on a limb here. Commando? Really?
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't Noble similar to Knight in terms of
Nope.
how it works? Oh,
Nope. They are. I'm actually gonna go out on a limb. I'm gonna lean more towards medic for this one.
I can go with that because the only thing that would be saboteur leaning is the whole band action thing.
Mm-hmm.
Squire.
That is going to be. Let's see. That's going to be Synergist
yeah.
because of all the stuff it can do.
Mhm.
I would lean a little more towards Saboteur, but Squire is more focused on building up allies in battle.
Yep. Thief.
Be right back, guys. Saboteur.
Let me see here. Thief, nah. I'm going to say Ravager. No, Commando. Excuse me. Because sneak attack.
Yep. So, and actually, I think sneak attack has a lot better use here, where it's weaponizing high initiative instead of just being the usual backstab.
Well, and with the commando role in 13, anyone who is the commando role, they choose the targets, so it makes sense.
Yep. Like I said, this is why the weakest parts of 13 are the times when you're only using 2 characters.
Mm-hmm.
It is clearly built for a 3-person party.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. And could you do 4 with it? Yeah, but that would be a nightmare.
Yeah, doing full buy with a system like this, that's a bit of a stretch.
So, Arcanist is Saboteur.
I was about Saboteur all the way.
Black Mage, Ravager. A lot of caster jobs end up falling into the Ravager role, to be honest.
A lot of them, Cosmic Mage would be more of a synergist. I mean, they have debuff capability, but more of the time magic and the space magic falls more into the synergist role.
Yep. Necromancer.
Now, this one is a tough one because their central perk is the Bone Commander. Let me see here. This might sound a little odd. I'm going to go with Commando for this one.
I'm perfectly fine with going that because necromancers in this setting don't have to be frail.
Yeah. Their main focus is attacking and debuffing. And, strengthening other party members' attacks.
Yep. So, Ravager is obviously Ravager. Red Mage. They're
They're about countering and spellcasting, but they're not fast like a Ravager would be.
So Sentinel.
I disagree with that one, actually.
Ah,
They're not really defensive.
fair enough.
No. This might sound a little odd. Once again, going back to the Necromancer, again, I would say Commando for this one.
Yeah.
All right. Sage.
They're all about
Synergist.
recalling spells.
Mhm.
I can go with that, actually.
What?
Synergist.
All right.
Since, like Six said, Sage is all about recalling spells.
Scholar.
Ravager.
Yeah,
Like-
Ravager.
Like, they learn 2 types of magic from the jump, and they have Grimoire spells also from the jump. So, yeah, they're going to be throwing stuff out there.
Summoner.
It's basically Summoner. Commando.
I can agree with that.
Whoops. White Mage. Medic.
White Mage, Medic. There's no argument.
Remember, the enemy cannot push a button if you disable his hand.
Exactly.
Yokai I'm going to come back to, because I think because of the way Yokai works, we'd have to look at the individual Eidolons and where they would fit.
Yeah, because no one Eidolon's gonna fit one specific role.
Specific crystal. Yeah. Crystal set.
So I'm gonna make 4 entries on that just in case. Might make more. All right. So for Adept, Beastmaster.
Beastmaster, I'm going to definitely go with Synergist for this one because of the way they use the companions.
Blue Mage.
This one's actually a tough one.
Blue Mage, I'd say Ravager.
Ravager? No. Absolutely not.
Alright.
What would you go
Again,
with instead?
This is going to sound odd, but because of the way the Blue Mage works and their mixture of capabilities, Sentinel.
All right.
Mostly because Turquoise Temperance and the Azure Adaptivity.
Oh yeah.
I can go with that. Dark Knight.
Oh, that's Commando all the way.
Oh yeah, all the way.
All right.
Their
Geomancer.
focus is hit 'em hard. Oh, Geomancer, Ravager. No, actually, I changed my mind. Synergist.
Oh yeah.
They're more than just offensive; they're defensive as well.
Because as the name of the job suggests, it's basically lay of the land.
Illusionist.
Let me see here. Illusionist. They have
a
lot of veils.
I'm leaning towards Saboteur because of
Oh yeah, Saboteur.
so much of their stuff. It revolves around veils.
I can agree with that.
Now, your first husband also disappeared. Well, that was his job. He was an illusionist. But he never reappeared. So, he wasn't a very good illusionist. Magic Knight, Commando.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh. Ninja.
Synergist.
No.
No,
Sentinel.
definitely not.
Oh yeah, Sentinel.
Yes.
Ninja, duh. Ninja are defensive.
You look at a lot of their. I talked about this before, but even though they have their moments of evasion, Thief is more offense. Ninja has more defense and counterattack.
Yep. Lest you forget, smoke.
Especially through things like backstab, body flicker.
Those two, yeah.
But Oracle, I think Oracle would have to be synergist.
Yeah.
It does lean more toward buffing rather than debuffing.
Huh? Oh yeah. Oh. Paladin, Commando.
Definitely.
I disagree. Sentinel.
Oh yeah, Sentinel, duh.
Yeah.
Because they're all about shielding.
And that is Sentinel to a T. That is Sentinel Hunt.
That is
Hunt
Paladin to a T.
Yes.
Rune Knight.
Yes. That's Hundo Paladin.
They're all about fucking over the enemy with by draining their magic from them.
So Saboteur.
They are all about that tactical fuckery.
Sword Saint.
Commando. Hands down. Pure damage, and they hit very hard.
So, Astrologian, I think that'd fall under Synergist.
Yes.
Chocobo Knight.
They're all about what I'm reading, and I haven't really read too much on any of the independent jobs. Let me see.
Hold on, let me consult the wiki dot real quick.
Let me see.
Chocobo Knight is all about being a combat bully.
So
Commando.
Yeah, Commando.
Let's see. Crown's Guard.
Yeah, that's Commando. Yeah, Crown's Guard. That would also be Commando, I believe. I think.
I would say no. Crown's Guard and Kingsglaive would be. I'd say Crown's Guard would be synergist, especially because of the link abilities.
Yeah.
And the fact that they draw power from the weapon that they have.
Let's see. Exorcist, Saboteur.
Without a doubt, no arguments here.
Yep. Saboteur.
Guardian, Sentinel. Gunbreaker, Commando.
Wait, which job?
Gunbreaker.
Yeah, Gunbreaker is definitely Commando. Must
Let's see. Kingsglaive, as I mentioned, would be. Kingsglaive, I could see either being. I was gonna actually with King. Actually, I maintain what I said. Both Crown's Guard and Kingsglaive are synergists.
Yeah.
I feel like they would all the Kingsglaive in particular would also qualify for Commando as well. Because of their ability to, even if their warp strike, even if it misses, it still would direct others, hey, attack this thing.
Just command other people to attack, yeah. Anyway, next.
So the Kingslave are very much on the offense, so I could definitely see that, especially with Warp Strike.
Yeah, hence my appeal and my case.
Uh-huh.
Especially things like Blade Wind.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
But Magitech Knight.
Sentinel. Shield.
Yep.
Because it's all about shields and enhancing their armor.
Uh-huh.
Merchant.
Saboteur.
Okay,
Yes,
why
Merchant.
Saboteur?
Because I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, Merchant entails, like, you can throw gills, and that very much sounds like a Saboteur thing to do.
I disagree with that assessment, and I would argue Ravager.
Ah, fair enough.
It's like I disagree with. I mean, I see your case, and I do get that, but that's not what the merchant does here.
Yeah.
Right.
Mimic. Synergist.
Yeah, Synergist.
Yep. Absolutely.
And Spirit Master. Medic.
Yes.
Oh yeah, Medic.
I still hate it.
I know you do. As far as the three jobs from Ultimania, let's see. Keybearer of Mastery.
Commando.
Yep.
Yeah.
Blitz forms. Their different ways they attack. The fact that they could freaking launch people. Commando.
Yep. Commando can juggle you. Commandos can juggle enemies, or monsters, so.
Keybearer of Dawn. Where would you put that one?
Keybearer of Dawn. Well, they are all about duality and enhancing. So this would be an odd thing, but synergist.
Yeah. Because synergist definitely enhance.
Mm-hmm. So Nightmare.
Let me see. The Nightmare seems to do a lot. The Nightmare seems to do a little debuffing and buff, but it seems to me lean a little more toward buffing in some circles. So I'm gonna argue synergist.
Yeah.
All right. And Somanot is medic.
No arguments from me.
Most def, yeah.
Because they're all about granting temporary HP.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what medics can do.
So when it comes to the...
To yokai, yeah.
Yeah, so... Where would we put Alexander?
Sentinel.
I mean, they're a big fucking wall, so...
That is Sentinel in a nutshell.
So, Bahamut.
Commando. Doesn't cast
Commando.
spells fast enough. And is all about, fuck you, take this Mega Flare.
Or, in the case of 16, Giga Flare.
Yes.
Oh, there's a lot of fuck your armor kind of approach with Bahamut.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, Carbuncle, Synergist.
Definitely.
No arguments here.
Cerberus, I'd say Ravager.
Yeah.
Yep.
Diablos.
Diablos.
Hmm.
Let me go down to the thingy here, and we will see.
Diablos, I see as a saboteur.
I disagree.
Ah.
It is a synergist.
Oh yeah. fair enough.
They are capable of debuffing, but
Yeah, they are.
they're more about buffing.
Yeah.
Eden.
They're all about shielding. Again, synergist.
Yeah.
Because they got a lot of shielding, they got a lot of damage reduction, but nothing that resembles healing, so medic wouldn't qualify here.
Yeah.
As I mentioned before, if it weren't for Eden's appearance in 14, Eden would have been cut.
Yeah.
Garuda.
Garuda. Let me see here.
Commando.
Let me see. I can agree with this assessment.
Garuda is all about beating the fuck out of you while being in the air.
Gilgamesh.
Commando.
Yep. They're all about hit 'em hard, hit 'em fast.
That's mentioned with multi-attack that you can just wail on enemies. On monsters, yeah.
Multi-attack is a feat.
Oh, right, fair enough.
But Hades is a saboteur.
No arguments.
Yep, most def.
Ifrit. Ifrit is a combat bully, so Commando.
Commando, yeah. I mean, it's like, have you seen Clive as Ifrit in 16? Or Ifrit Risen, for that matter?
Keep in mind with this, I'm looking directly at how they are in the...
how they act in 13, fair enough.
No, for this in how the Crystarium roles act and which one of the Eidolons from the book itself is going to fit.
It's going to fit them up.
Knights of the Round, it is also is also Commando.
Yep.
Leviathan.
Now this is tricky. Oh yeah, synergist.
While they do have buffing capability, a lot of the abilities for Leviathan aim toward enhancing.
They do.
Odin.
Commando.
Yep. Not only can it hit hard, but it debuffs.
Yep.
So I could also make an argument for Saboteur, because they do damage reduction and
I'll put it in Saboteur. Phoenix, medic.
Yep.
Yeah. Phoenix is always medic.
Ramu.
Commando.
I disagree. Saboteur.
Okay. Oh yeah. Lightning is very sabotaging.
A lot of Ramu's abilities lean toward debuffs.
Yeah, they do.
Especially given the whole thing with Lightning Rod.
Yeah. Not to mention Judgment Bolt.
Keep in mind, Judgment Bolt is worse if anyone's been hit with Vajra.
Ah.
Vajra doesn't do any damage. It just debuffs so that anytime anybody gets hit with lightning, anytime lightning effects happen, they get targeted.
Uh-huh.
Or correct.
Surprise, motherfucker.
And hello there, Remrose, and thank you for the raid. Hope you're doing well. How was Wolfenstein 2? For those of you who do not know me, my name is Mildra. I am your one and only gaming monk, and today we are delving into adapting the FF13 trilogy into Legend Edition.
Uh-huh. The Final Fantasy TRPG that Monk helped develop.
So how was the new Colossus for you? But as we continue onward, let me see where I had the spot on my notes. Ramu. So next up would be Shiva.
Ravager. Straight up.
Ravager, yep.
Concentrated damage.
Mm-hmm.
Then Siren, which I honestly think Siren is going to be another Saboteur.
Let's see.
Yeah, I can see it.
A chunk of her thing is weaponizing charm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly wanted to make the argument for Synergist because of her ability to inflict charm. Because that's technically a buff. But for sake of this, I would say Saboteur is more apt.
Yep. And Titan.
Probably Commando.
Yeah, I can go with that. I was about to say it's not concentrated enough for Ravager. It has a couple of buffing abilities, but it's not quite a synergist.
Yeah. And looking at the whole thing, Synergist ends up getting the most representation.
I'm not surprised at all.
Neither am I.
Especially given how party play is significantly important.
And if you have a good party, if you're running a game, yeah, you can definitely tell.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So, I think something I might do in the future is make a advanced rule for making a Crystarium deck, but that's for later on.
That's a homebrew idea to explore later down the line.
Well, technically, this whole series has been homebrew.
Fair. Its own homebrew idea. Let's put it that way.
Homebrew within homebrew.
Yes.
Homebrewception.
Yep.
Wong.
Yeah, if my soundboard worked, I would have played that. So that brings us to 13-2.
Brat baskets, hold on. My second monitor has decided to die.
Anyway, I'm probably gonna head out since well, yes, you should never underestimate the value of an outside opinion. I feel like my inexperience with 13.2 and Lightning Returns wouldn't really work, wouldn't really fit. Anyway, see.
No worries.
I don't have much experience with either of those two either, but I'm going in anyway.
Yep. It is amusing that Tri-Ace helped co-develop 13.2. I think part of the reason I find it so amusing is given certain hidden bosses in 13.2, I'm like, all right, there's the Tri-Ace cruelty I'm familiar with.
All right.
Like, you know, I've mentioned before how anytime Geese shows up in any fighting game, I feel my blood pressure go up.
Yep. Especially at the announcement of Nightmare Geese for Garou.
Mm-hmm.
Which to me kind of makes me mad because it's just like freaking Heihachi in Tekken 8. It's like, what was the point of killing him then?
Oh, he's dead. He's dead. It's just his spirit won't die. This isn't the... Keep in mind, he's come back multiple times. Haunting people. And anytime he shows up, it is referred to as a nightmare match. But...
Goodness.
But
I
would
apologize. I'm working toward getting my dual monitors back up.
No worries.
Okay, we should be good now. Let me get this to where I need it, which is over here. That's my sticky notes for other things. Alrighty.
So... we only have two... So we have a smaller amount of characters to worry about for this one. Obviously, the first case is Sarah.
Yep. Let me get in here and get to her. Yep, Sarah Farron.
Mm-hmm. So, let's see. So, given that I feel Sarah's affinities when it comes to the Crystarium roles are almost a hybrid between lightning and snows. You know, starting with Commando, Ravager, and Sentinel.
Mm-hmm.
But given the fact that a lot of her abilities are all about siphoning, which gives her a better recharge, I feel like that could be interpreted as the kind of weaponized initiative that we give Thief. Especially since stealing attributes is kind of Thief's thing.
Yes.
And I'd say when it comes, now, obviously we don't need to go with the whole yokai thing that we did previously.
Nope. Oh wow, Laura Bailey voices her? Didn't know that.
But I'd say for the second one, I know it'd be tempting to go with Sentinel. I'm actually going to go with Fencer.
Yeah, I was about to say, from gameplay I've seen of Sarah, she's definitely, I mean, she hits them hard, hits them fast, but she's also a bit of a debuffer.
And because of the she's able to get passive abilities as Ravager while Noelle doesn't for getting a better chain bonus.
Yep.
Obviously the chain and stagger thing we're not going to be trying to emulate. Though it is kind of funny that the stagger system became such a mainstay in the years since. Or at least something like it. Because it was obviously in all 3 of the 13 games. It is somewhat in 15. It's very much in FF7 remake slash rebirth and 16.
Mm-hmm.
Which is somewhat amusing. But I think for the third entry, I'm thinking probably have to go with Weapon Master just because of that sword bow.
Mm-hmm.
As far as the class, I'm thinking probably Warrior.
Mm-hmm. I'd actually make an argument instead of Weapon Master Fighter because she'd be able to switch.
We already have that with variable weapons.
Fair.
But with Noelle, here's where things are going to get interesting. So, let's see what we've got. And obviously, I'm not looking at his appearance in Lightning Returns. Not yet. But...
Okay, class is definitely Warrior. Just looking at him.
Oh, yeah.
Dervish right out of the gate.
Yes.
I haven't really seen him fight much, and I was going to say Dragoon, was going to say it, because his dual sword's going to become a thief sword or a spear or whatever you want to call it.
In his case, it is a spear. Though more often than not, you see him throw it like a javelin, then use it like a dragoon spear.
Mm-hmm. Let me take a look at something because I might have an idea. See here, how does he play? And I will see if is applicable.
Although, given that adrenaline gives him boosts at low and high HP,
I'm going to make a bold assertion here, and I will say sniper.
what makes you go with sniper?
Because if he throws, I mean, you don't necessarily have to have a ranged weapon, or a javelin in this case for the sniper.
Mm-hmm.
But he seems to be the type that he's not as efficient as a saboteur, but he enhances himself as a synergist, and the sniper has some enhancing abilities for his own attacks that, oddly enough, debuff the target.
Yep. And as far as the third entry,
he's not proficient in magic, so I'm not leaning
mm-hmm.
toward that.
Yep.
Magic Knight.
I can go with that.
Yeah. Sniper is an odd choice, yes, I admit, but looking at how he plays according to the wiki, it just seemed to fit.
Mm-hmm. So Saz does have had an appearance in the Heads or Tails DLC, but he doesn't change how his kit really works. So I don't see a reason to do much in the way of shifting. Yeah. Lightning, on the other hand, yes.
All right. Let's take a look at my girl here and get an analysis, because I do remember seeing the beginning and how she is basically a Valkyrie.
Well, given what we'd see in Lightning Returns, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I'm kind of disappointed I haven't seen anyone do fan art of her in Valkyrie Lennis outfit.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yep.
Oh, right. I mean, she plays the same role. She's definitely...
So, Yokai Odin is still present. I know it'd be tempting to go with Paladin because of her appearance. I'm going with Kingsglaive instead. Not Kingsglaive, Crownsguard.
Let me see. Let's see. I can definitely see that with her thing. I was also going to make an argument for Chocobo Knight because of the beginning sequence with Sleipnir. But I know we're not doing full buy, so this wouldn't be appropriate. Are we still sticking with expert for her class, or are we changing it?
I think at this phase it would shift to adept.
Okay.
And as far as these, I'd say it's still Dervish, but instead of Weapon Master, it's Crownsguard.
So if we're going with Adept, Sword Saint. Because all of her attacks focus on that sword.
Yep. I went with Crown's Guard because of the way her new sword ends up working. Something that she Overture, which the wiki keeps calling a gunblade, but as I've made clear, it is not. At least in terms of how those things work in this system. That being said, there is one other character within 13.2 that has to be covered.
Yes.
Yep. So let me...
i.e. the character that nobody at the time when the game was new would shut up about.
He certainly has a presence. But
all right, let's take a look at him.
I will of course make the joke that he shares the name of the most infamous Roman emperor in history.
Goodness.
I think you know exactly who I'm referring to.
You may have to refresh my memory, because I think it's on the tip of my tongue, but I'm not sure.
Sometimes referred to as Gaius, but more commonly known as Caligula.
Oh, Jesus. All right, so let's take a look at what he's capable of. Magic user. So, mage, definitely.
So, I'll get this out of the... I think he should also be getting Yokai Bahamut and Crown's Guard.
I can agree with that. Considering his transformation is a Bahamut variant, one of many.
and the sword that he has. And I'd say for the other one, Sword Saint.
Mm. So similar to Lightning, just a difference in class.
Mm-hmm. Which would make sense given how evenly matched they are. I was very tempted to go with Dark Knight, but the problem is he can't die.
Mm-mm. And like I said, just looking at how he's described how he plays, it would not fit.
But then we get to Lightning Returns.
I still like her outfit.
There were some controversies about the outfit around the time, but I think some people were just out looking for witches.
Looking for witches, and they were trying to conceal their own horniness.
As I've said before, it is better to be an honest sinner than a masquerading saint.
Guilty.
Oh.
When I eventually get to playing the Final Fantasy games on the channel, this is definitely one of my targets. Goodness gracious. This one is going to be a tougher one.
So, this is the one case with Lightning where the whole Yokai of Odin thing can be dropped.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say Fighter.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yep.
Especially given the weapon variety in it. Let's see. This might be given things like overclock and chronostasis and the like, as well as teleport, I'm thinking Cosmic Mage.
Okay, I can go with that.
And as far as the third entry, I was gonna say Sword Saint, but no, not quite.
I was about to say no, doesn't fit. The fighter I can definitely see, but she uses a lot of different weapons in this case.
Mm-hmm.
Are we wanting to lean into warrior, or do we want something a little more off the rails?
I would say let's go off the rails and add in Keybearer of Mastery.
Let me take a look at that once again.
Especially given the way schema work and the way we have the drive forms work.
That makes sense. No, absolutely. I'm looking at it and I'm like, yes, that makes sense.
Oh. So let's...
Like, that is very off the rails, and it's not something I would have thought of, to be honest, but just looking at the description, it fits.
I was tempted to throw in the Angel of Valhalla, which is just a white chocobo. But
ooh, it's so fluffy.
And I can't do that for the same reason I can't do Chocolina.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. I've seen memes of her. It's been a long time, but I remember that.
Especially since, well, Merchant and Entertainer would be two of her setup.
Okay, so Merchant Entertainer. So
I'm not putting her in the list.
No, that's fine. So if we're going with the expert mediator.
Yep. As far as lightning in terms of being the savior, I'm going with warrior.
Yep. Considering we've chosen the Keybearer Mastery and Fighter, I forget what else.
Cosmic Mage.
Cosmic Mage. Yeah, because Mage doesn't fit her in that case. It's never really fit her, especially because down the line, she gains different elemental strikes.
Mm-hmm. So I do want to shift back when it comes to weapons, because there are some that are a bit esoteric enough that I think they need to be addressed.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm pretty
Ooh,
sure
so
I
we're-
did. I'm
So
pretty
we're
sure
building weapons.
Yep. Normally I don't, because a lot of the weapons aren't out there enough. Yes, even Lulu's dolls aren't out there enough for it.
Mm-hmm. And I think the reason Lulu's dolls wouldn't really work is because they serve more as foci for magic rather than, weapons themselves.
Mm-hmm. That being said, the Blazefire Saber I already have in here.
Yep.
I already have that in the Ultimania guide.
I was about to say, I think you had that in Ultimania.
Oh. And truth be told, the stats for it would fit just as well for Overture, because aside from the look, doesn't change all that much. I have it as physical, dueling, and getting brutal, guardian, and piercing, as well as feat training, multi-attack, and variable weapon. The gun mode has the meta type physical, template short, and tags brutal, piercing, and swarm.
Nice.
So, just gonna put that.
For Fury the Land, I kind of been leaning into making some different weapons for the players to get as upgrades, so this is also good to look at.
So, when it comes to... actually, I do have Overture in here as well. The main thing that changes is Overture has Paladin's Oath and Variable Weapon, but both have Elemental Holy. But let's see, did I put in I'm pretty sure I put in Lightning's default sword in in the list, but let me check something.
Are we talking the Lightning Returns sword?
Yeah.
Crimson Blitz. Let me see. Because that is a big fucking sword. Let me see if I can find something.
Okay.
No, I see that. I see the Crimson, which is a.
That is a nod to
weapon.
Rosa the Crimson.
Oh, right. Nice. And then.
So let's see. Crimson Blitz, which is not going to be a variable weapon. Obviously.
Nope. Reminds me of a much sleeker version of the Fire Seal.
Oh. So let me do a bit of copy pasta. The thing about trying to stat out swords in a very role-focused game is swords often are this middle ground weapon, which is very hard to stat in a way that feels distinct.
Yeah. But they're reliable and can 9 times out of 10 hit things, so it's kind of why that's kind of why it's my weapon of choice. He said, running a great sword in first Berserker Kazan.
So instead of covering just Crimson Blitz, I think I'm going to focus instead on covering the broader archetype weapons.
Okay. All right, so what's our target?
Okay, so let's see. Say first is the sword archetype, which says gives a boost to strength and magic, as well as a somewhat boost to ATB speed. So, given that, I'd say I'll use Crimson Blitz as a baseline for the longsword archetype.
Mm-hmm.
Metatype is physical. Template is dueling.
Yep.
Tags are...
Though it can be used hand and a half from just looking at it.
Yep. Say hand tags are Guardian.
Mm-hmm.
And Brutal 2.
Yep.
Let's see. They talk about heavy blades, which I think things like heavy blades, bewitched blades, and the like. The only one that has a auto ability that I'd want to focus on are katanas, which have hard hitter, which increases the likelihood of interrupting an enemy. That's basically stunning.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see which. So which one do we want to use as a basis? I would say the basis that I'm going to go with is Kiku Ichimonji. That seems like a good basis to go with. And as far as the, it's still physical, it's still dueling. As far as the tags, I would say just Brutal 3.
Yeah.
I do think Hard Hitter can be handled as a enchantment. So let me go to magic items. And as far as the, let's see, I know that there was one that was doing it would be status strike. The status effect would be stun.
And I'm assuming we're going with this for artifact weapon, correct?
I left in this case lesser.
Okay.
But let's see, actually, when it comes to these swords, I'm dropping Kiku Ichimonji because I think that's digging way too much into the weeds. I know that there are some unorthodox weapon entries. Let's see, staves, we already have those. Rapiers, we already have those. Obviously, we've got spears. We do have dual blades, and dual blades were tricky to use, so I think that part we can skip and go into some of the other weapons. So and hang on, I think I was on the wrong tab. Sorry about that.
No worries.
So with the twin pistols that Saz has, I think we can do some things with that. Since it's two pistols that can turn into an assault rifle.
Nice.
So let's go with the base model, which is Vega 42. So, as far as the meta type, this is still physical. Template, I would say, is... This will be a tricky one. Actually, no, it's not going to be a tricky one. It's point blank. And as far as tags, let me see the tags I put in for pistols. So, hold out, piercing, and any. As far as what the any should be, I'm thinking swarm. Actually, no. Yeah, let's go with swarm for that one. Accuracy by volume. Let's see, so we have the Vega 42s, that's twin pistols, and then as its variable version, the rifle form, same meta type, same template, but I think we're going with. So let me see what I have for.
Wait, hold. If it's transforming into a rifle, would the template not change to close?
Yeah.
Because you're going to have a little more range with a rifle as, twin pistols.
They're not close, short.
Short. I'm thinking two different things.
Mm-hmm. So I had Swarm and then any two. I'm thinking Swarm, Magnum, and Brutal.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see. So when it comes to the coat, I don't really see a reason to make that its own weapon.
Would be interesting to make in some armor, though.
The weapon part is attaching emblems to his coat.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Hope's boomerangs. That I think. Let me double check if I have. Yeah, I already have boomerang on this, so I can just make a full version of that.
Mm-hmm.
So meta type is still physical. Template is point blank.
Mm-hmm.
And tags Bane aerial. I think that can be kept.
Yep.
Swarm, yes.
Yep.
And I think the third one can be elemental wind.
Yep.
So let's see. For Vanille's rods, okay, this is going to be trickier.
Whatever the fuck those things are.
Officially, they are called binding rods, but I actually think this one should have the short template.
Mm-hmm.
With because, you know, grapple. I'd say Bane Beast. And probably piercing.
I was gonna either say piercing or wounding.
Yeah.
But piercing seems a little more apt, given I don't think bleed status condition was a thing in 13.
No, it wasn't. So let's see. The spears. This is going to be another variable weapon.
Yeah, because it's twin swords, a spear, or a 3-segmented staff.
Twin swords, no. It's just a double-bladed spear. So essentially,
Right.
a swallow, or a tooth, or a sunset's cone. The sunset's cone has never shown up in Final Fantasy, but I wanted to put that in there anyways.
Maybe put it on the next character you play in the game itself. That'd be cool.
Let's see. So
I'd allow it. So, from what I'm reading here, a lot of her weapons would inflict status ailments, so we need to have status strike on here.
So the question is, which ailment?
Let me see. Let's take a look at her base weapon here. Weapon, the bladed lance.
Oh yeah.
Alrighty, let's see. Bladed lance. Well, since she is on status, she does like to inflict status effects with this one. I would say status strike bleed.
Which
At
may
least
not
in
even
the
be
case of the
necessary
bladed lance.
because wounding.
Fair. I keep forgetting that tag is a thing.
So I'd say wounding, piercing, and swarm. And enchantment is still variable weapon.
Uh-huh.
So as far as the other side of it, the Sansetsu Cone, which I do remember someone saying, why'd you put that in there? That's never been in any of the FFs. I'm like, somebody may put it in their campaign. Plus, I want to encourage more unorthodox weapons. Last thing I want is for every fighter to be in yet another sword and board.
From just judging from the sound of it, that sounds like something soldiers from Athagari would have, at least a specialist unit.
What, the 3-section staff?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Maybe. So metatype is still physical, template is still great. Let's see, tags I have are swarm, hooked, and any. I can go with that. Let's see, as far as the third tag for the Sansetsu Cone version, I'm actually going to go with Devastating.
I can definitely see it.
Because a weapon like that is going to be using a lot of trip maneuvers.
I mean, even if you didn't go with that tag, I would have suggested Guardian for that.
See, there were some dummied weapons, but since they're dummied weapons, we can't use them.
Actually, wouldn't be just Athagiri that would have the 3-segmented staves. They'd actually be up in the freaking mountains of Osto, where there's an entire freaking village of Vieira that are basically trained for war.
So, let's see. As far as I think Sarah's weapon I do have in there. I believe I have that as a.
It was a variable. It was
Star Seeker.
It was. Yeah, I was about to say it was the Star Seeker.
Which I had treated as a bastard sword, because that's the vibe I certainly got. It was definitely a hand-and-a-half sword.
No, I can definitely see it. That thing is gonna be heavy. But the fact that Sarah can wield it means she's fairly strong herself.
Well, that, and it's the transformation of Mog.
Yeah. So it's naturally gonna be a little lighter because Moogles are like balloons.
Well, you did have that whole Moogle tossing thing in Lightning Returns. That is the reason why I made the Moogle paradox gag. So, infinite perfect flight, scared of heights.
Yep.
It was all because of that one forest quest where one of the Moogles is asked, "Wait, you can fly. Why don't you just fly over the forest and then go back?" His response was, "I'm scared of heights." The response being, all right, Moogle tossing. But Flame Fossil, which is Noelle's weapon, I already have. The Arcane Metatype, Dueling Templates, and tags Elemental Fire, Piercing, and Swarm, as well as the Mix-Up feat and Variable Weapon. The Javelin alt mode, because it feels more like a javelin than like a Dragoon Spear. Metatype is still Arcane, template is Short, and tags are Brutal, Piercing, and Thrown. But let's see, did I do the Eye of Bahamut? I feel like I did. I guess not. Though, we rarely see it used like an actual sword.
Mm-hmm.
No, instead it's just beam spam. And I was tempted to look at the schema and do something with that, but a lot of it is just a numbers game, so there's not a whole lot of reason to do it. although looking at some of the designs, I'm sitting here going, wait, all of that shit that 10-2 got for the dress sphere, and I didn't hear an eyebrow raised over this.
Yeah. I thought that was weird.
Well, if some people didn't have double standards, they'd have no standards.
Right.
But I think that covers everything we could. I know this was a longer one, but that's what's going to happen when you're covering 3 games in one go.
Yep.
And when it comes to this particular entry, I know for a lot of people it is extremely divisive, and some people this started their hate boner towards anything Square does. But I feel like in the long term, I've become more and more validated. Since I've been seeing more people who genuinely enjoy it. I think the only people who are still holding out on that level of grudge for the game are the Grogs, and you know how I feel about them.
Yeah.
So I'll take that. So I will put that in my archives. So obviously next week we are delving back into Reflections of Gaia, covering the XIII trilogy, and oh boy, there's gonna be some. If you thought the stuff you could do with baseline anima was crazy, it's about to get crazier.
Oh, goodness.
It is about to get very crazy.
And freaking Anima's already crazy enough as is.
Some people are going to be aghast at that kind of thing because of the fact that, you shouldn't be. Apparently having people play a power fantasy is somehow wrong in this day and age.
Yeah.
For reasons I do not comprehend, and this time it's not a case of choosing not to comprehend like I've accused some of. It's a case of you make no sense. But when we return to Fated Continuum, we will not be doing 14. I'll make that clear. Instead, we are going to be delving into 15.
Yep.
A game which, as somebody who grew up in the Midwest and dealt with certain traveling movies, hits a certain way. And it's very on the nose that the theme song for it was Stand By Me.
Right. Yeah, I remember that at the beginning.
Which, if you're thinking, isn't a bit on the nose. I think one of the writers outright admitted citing that movie as an influence.
Yep.
So, can you really blame him for using that? Especially since I really like Florence and the Machine.
Yeah.
And now, fortunately, when we do 15, it'll be a little bit smoother. I would also advise it if anyone is running a 15 like campaign, use the cooking rules.
Oh, right, the cooking rules. Yay! I remember those.
Yep. You have at least one person have the culinary part of the art of synthesis feat. I feel like that is almost a must if someone's gonna try and get that particular feel.
Mm-hmm.
I do remember some people raising their eyebrow about some of the sponsors, and yeah, the cup noodle quest was kind of weird. But having Coleman all over the place for the camping equipment, no, that completely tracks.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's telling who when it comes to the people playing it who have gone camping at least in some point in their life and who hasn't. But even with that, this is going to be a busy week because tomorrow I'm going to be roasting everyone's favorite teams because it is the return of the Men Who Stare at Sports Ball, where we're doing our debriefing of the NFL, and I am going to be eating all of the shit for my predictions. As I do every year, I screenshot the prediction rate rankings that I give at the start of the season, just so I can see how badly I screwed it up by the end. So that is something to look forward to. And of course there's going to be plenty others along the way. But that is a story for next time. So until then, on behalf of the good brothers present and not present, my name is Mildra. I am your gaming monk. Stay fucking frosty, everybody.
See you on the trail.